Hey folks, this is Vint with Ads Gaming Edition, and today we're going to quickly check out Star Trek Infinite. This is a game that you can find on Steam for about $30. Now, I did receive my press key about a week prior. I've got about 16 hours in this. I've completed the Federation playthrough, which took about 8 to 9 hours, and I'm nearing the end of the Klingon playthrough. I've pretty much conquered half the galaxy as the Klingons, and I'm waiting for the timer to run out. But anyway, so this is a Stellaris clone. It's a standalone, though. You don't need to own Stellaris in order to play this. Stellaris being a 4X game, this is a Star Trek-themed Stellaris game. And you can play as one of 4 factions. There's the Federation, Klingons, Romulans, and Cardassians. They each have their own style and preferred way of playing, though you can play peacefully as the Klingons if you so choose to, but each faction has their own mission tree. And as you complete particular goals, you'll earn, rewards. Playing as, the Enterprise and getting the Enterprise as the Federation to do a number of different things on the map will, earn you different crew members and then even an upgraded Enterprise. It's all kind of cool. The Klingons prefer to conquer, and as you conquer more and more worlds, you get, more buffs and more rewards. So, yeah, each one plays differently. The Federations are peaceful. They like to do the whole peace thing. Klingons, Cardassians, they like to combat, they like to attack. Romulans are more sneaky. So anyway, like in Stellaris, this game has a slew of resources on the very top of the screen. Energy credits, and then a bunch of other resources as you explore the galaxy and use your, influence to capture different solar systems and then build resource-generating structures on those planets. These resources will start trickling in, and you can start constructing ships and other, buildings on these planets in order to see your way through. If you've played Stellaris, it's I swear it's like you're 90% of the way there, and that's kind of unfortunate. I come from old school Birth of the Federation, which was a 4X game, turn-based 4X game way back when, and it was Star Trek themed. I really liked it. I wish that Paradox here did something a bit more unique in that regard. I wish they dared to step outside of the box of Stellaris' shadow and try to be different. The menus, the UI, all of it. It's just, I've seen this before. It's just Star Trek. And I'm thinking to myself, I've played Star Trek New Horizons, which is a free user-made mod, very extensive. You can even play as the Borg and a number of other different factions. The universe is huge compared to this particular game. Star Trek New Horizons is fantastic. I tried to play it. I tried to reinstall it recently, and I couldn't get it to work. So I was sad. I'm not very technical, so I don't know what's wrong. But anyway, like in Stellaris, you're going to be, choosing different traditions. There's, for example, the Federation Defense Conquest. You pick one of those. Research Development, you pick one of those. And then there are Ascension perks, which are super powerful buffs. And what's weird is that even as the Klingons, they've got the same exact thing. So, no matter which faction you pick, it's pretty much the same game. And I noticed that the same events were popping up, which is weird. And you'll see it later, but I was playing as the Klingons, and Janeway actually came back from the Delta Quadrant and joined the Klingon faction in a Klingon ship and was captaining a Klingon ship. I'm like, really? I mean, I get it. The Klingons and Federation are technically allies in, canon, but why is Janeway commanding a Klingon ship? I don't get it. So, again, I'm playing a preview build. Maybe they'll fix that. But it doesn't make any sense. How about, I wish the factions played more differently and the story were different. It's the same endgame crisis, which of the Borg. It's already been spoiled, so I apologize if I'm, spoiling it for you, but you're gonna see it anyway. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that they didn't do more with it. They could have done a lot more with this. And I wanted to play as the Borg. I want to play as other factions in the Star Trek universe. Limiting it to 4 just seems kind of lazy to me, especially when you've got Star Trek New Horizons, which I wish it worked. But when I was playing it, it had so many factions that I could play as. It was so fun. It was so cool. Playing as the Borg was so unique and so fun. But I know I sound like I'm complaining, but that's how I felt almost the entire time while I was playing this. Victory conditions, your you're given a score pretty much based on how well you're doing across economy and military and all that stuff. And you're just basically trying to run out the clock. There's a clock on the very bottom left of the Victory Empire score screen. If you're the highest, you win. But there's another way to end the game early, and I think that's collecting so many, I think they're called relics or something like that. I've been playing a lot of Galactic Civilizations 4 recently, too, so I'm getting my 4X's crossed a little bit. But anyway, you earn these relics by, bringing minor races into your civilization, or by simply conquering them. That you could do that, too. But anyway, so again, this game does play a lot like Stellaris. You need leaders. Leaders are very important in this game. For example, if you've got science vessels, you're going to need some kind of science leader assigned to that ship, and they will level up over time. And there are different missions that you'll come across. I really enjoyed playing each faction to canon, meaning I liked playing as the Federation, being peaceful. I had my focus with the Federation was get as many envoys as I can. These are people that can go out and talk to minor races and try and sway them to our side. Very heavy on diplomacy. Whereas with the Klingons, I'm like, I had 2 envoys the entire game, and I focused on just conquering everybody. You know what I mean? So like I enjoyed playing the game the way I was supposed to, even though I didn't have to. I could have like focused on envoys with the Klingons. I just wouldn't have been as good at it. But yeah, so you can do that. You're free to choose, but it's better if you just play the factions per canon if you can. But yeah, when it comes to like, the envoy stuff, you're going to meet these races. You get some choices every now and again. Sometimes you can choose, I'll take a mission for extra rep or whatever. But typically you're trying to get the relations as high as possible, send them gifts, send envoys over to continue talking them to death until they finally like you enough to leave me alone, fine, I'll join, that kind of thing. But once they join you, they will assimilate into your culture, and it for lack of a better term, gets assimilated into your empire. Everything belongs to you now. Same with conquering as the Klingons. If you conquer it and you hold the position long enough, you'll eventually just assimilate everything into your society. One thing I don't like about the war in Stellaris, and it's the same thing here, is that like you have to... Everything is done, like, you need influence to claim. There are planet claims in this game. You first have to claim planets, which is stupid, and then at the end of the war, if you're successful, you automatically get those planets. It's not like... I would expect to bring ships over to a planet, land on it, win the battle there, but at the end of the war, the enemy keeps it. That's not what happens, like in real life, you know what I mean? In this game, you have to claim the planet. So even if you've landed on the planet and won the planet, and then the war ends, you don't get to keep it. Your troops just mysteriously go back into orbit and leave. And so it's like, and you can't declare war on someone for like 5 years. There's like a truce period. So as the Klingons, I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs, waiting for the timer to run out, so I can declare war on somebody again. It's very dull. The whole war system in Stellaris, and by extension this game, is bleh. I'm sorry, I hated it. It was so slow as the Klingons. Like, as the Klingons, I was dominating the Federation. I sent ships over to every planet. I landed on every planet. I was just slaughtering them. Oh, the war is over, but I only claim these 3 planets, so I get to keep those, but everyone else, you have to go home. No, I'm sorry. Stellaris. The developers could have improved on this system, but didn't, is my point. But anyway, what you're seeing now is typically, again, you can build star bases on each. It starts as an outpost. When you go to a planet that is neutral, you build an outpost there to claim it, and then you can put resource generating buildings down. But then you can upgrade that outpost to like star bases and starports, and in doing so, you can put in new modules and new buildings on that star base to make it even better. Yeah, again, Stellaris people know what I'm talking about. You can put shipyards down so you can construct more ships. All of that's fine and good. Okay, all of that's fine and good. There are named people in this game. This is one part I did like. I recognized a lot of faces. I mean, I'm a huge Star Trek nerd. Everything from the original series, yes, even Enterprise, with Scott Bakula. It was okay. I didn't, it's not my favorite, but it's okay. But not Discovery though. I'm not a fan of Discovery. Sorry, but everything else, like Deep Space Nine. Oh, there's Benjamin Sisko. I get to recruit him. I can assign him to a ship if I want to. Oh, Riker. I know Riker. Typical names that you would see. Even as when I was playing as the Klingons, I think it was Grilka, which was in like 2 or 3 episodes of Deep Space Nine, who was Quark's love interest for a while. So seeing that side of it, I did not play as the Romulans or the Cardassians to know what heroes. I'm assuming Gul Dukat is part of the Cardassians, and maybe Tomalak is in the Romulans. I have no idea. But seeing these faces, just again, it's a reskin, so it's not that special. But as a Star Trek nerd, I'm like, yeah, look, it's Riker. Anyway. So yeah, so that's the gameplay flow. It depends on what you're shooting for, really. As the Klingons, you just build a bunch of ships. You try to get a lot of influence so that you can, because it costs influence or whatever it's called, control, whatever, to like claim planets against somebody. So you have to wait for your influence / whatever it's called to build up and then claim a bunch of planets, then declare war on them, fight them, and then you retreat, wait like 5 or so years for the truce to be over, and then attack again. With the Federation, I was a bit more like involved. The loop was more fluid. I was running into a minor race all the time. And what I don't like is that the map is fixed. The Federation always starts on the bottom. The Klingon always starts on the right. And I get it. It's the Alpha Quadrant. It's supposed to look the same, but like in Stellaris, isn't it randomly generated, I think? So, I was hoping for a randomly generated galaxy, or at least procedurally generated to some degree to where it makes sense. It could still be a Star Trek thing and still make sense. Wolf 359 is in the same place, so it's a fixed map, is what I'm trying to say. So it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for things. The Borg stuff was fine. I mean, like, I played it on easy mode because I hadn't played Stellaris in years. But I mean, I again, fighting against the Borg was rough because, well, they're tough. I mean, one Borg sphere, it took like 2 of my fleets to take down 1 sphere. I don't want to spoil anything more than that. Like, I'm trying not to spoil that part of it, but you'll have to go through various events to deal with the endgame crisis. Okay? And they will always show up. So but seeing them made me wish I could play as them. I want to build 30 Borg cubes and send it hurtling toward Earth. I'm sorry. I could do that in Star Trek New Horizons, and I couldn't do it here. It's just, I'm waiting for the, infamous Paradox Interactive DLC practice. Oh, if you want to play as the Ferengi, it's $10. If you want to play as the Borg, it's $10. If you want to play as this, it's Dominion, it's $10. The Beta Quadrant. Oh, the Delta Quadrant. Oh, look at that. There's going to be $600 worth of DLC for this game by the time it's all said and done. Hopefully not. But I'm calling it. I'm calling it now. Again, playing as the Klingons, as you can see, like, the traditions are the same. Like, it's... I mean, defense conquest, research development, commerce welfare, ascendancy perks. Even the ascendancy perks were the same. So, again, it was just a matter of picking ones that I didn't pick for the Federation because I'm playing them differently, if that makes any sense. So, again, I wish it was just different. I wish there was more variety, different events, like the same events popped up for the Klingons as they did for the Federation. The crystalline entity, for example, in Federation space, when I was playing as the Federation, I dealt with them. Now the Klingons have to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same events that keep popping up over and over again for all the different factions. How about some variety? You know what I mean? How about giving each faction their own unique set of things from the Star Trek universe that pop up? Yes, the mission tree is different, and yes, that encourages you to play that faction differently. But truth be told, I found a lot of these missions to be difficult to complete. I did not complete the mission trees on these. For the Federation, I got maybe a third of them done, and for the Klingons, I got about half of them done. I wish I could have done more, but like I had explored the entire map, and my goal as the Enterprise, like, to get half of the Federation stuff done was to, as the Enterprise, research so many anomalies or do this so many times. But I couldn't because the map was explored and I had done that already by the time the Enterprise rolled around, if that makes any sense. So, I mean, I am happy this exists, okay? I am happy this exists. Yet, I am disappointed that it did not do more. Okay. Birth of the Federation, great 4X game from way back when. And not being able to play it for 20 years kind of mips me. But now that I've got this, I'm like, yes, great. And now that I can't play Star Trek New Horizons because it doesn't work right, it just won't launch. So I'm trying to figure that out. I'm really trying to get that troubleshooted so I can reload that and play as the Borg and satisfy that itch. I'm glad this exists. I'm glad Star Trek is being given the love it deserves, but this seems a little lazy. This reskin seems a little lazy, I'm sorry. And they could have fixed some of the gripes that people had from Stellaris and changed it here so it wouldn't be so bad. Again, the whole war thing and Casus Belli or whatever it's called, and, planet claims and waiting 10, 15 years before you can declare war again. And like, no, just let me invade and take over crap. I have to wait. These stupid rules, I have to wait. The core gameplay mechanics of Stellaris turned me off a little bit, and they're also turning me off here by extension. There she is. There's Janeway, age 55, commanding the Fearless, because canon, right? She came back from the Delta Quadrant and is now commanding the Fearless because, yeah. So, this is a preview build. Like I said, this footage is about a week old. So, hopefully they've fixed this by the time launch rolls around. I want to continue playing this, but I don't foresee myself getting sucked into this as much, because once you've played through it once as one faction, what's the point of replaying it if the map is pretty much the same, if all of the technologies and everything is the same, the events are the same, the endgame crisis are the same? Give me new factions, give me more variety, give me more stuff. You know what I mean? I'm glad this exists, I do, but it could have been more than what it is. For $30, do I recommend it? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, there's a lot here. The fact that I got it's about 8 hours per faction. Again, 8 hours for the Federation, I beat that. And for the Klingons, it took me 8 hours or so. I'm nearing the end of the playthrough there. So about 8 hours. That's about 8 times 4 is 32. So $30, 32 hours worth of content with replayable, you could replay stuff. Yeah, you could. But the question is, do you want to? I don't know if I want to. It's just, there's not enough variety for me. And that whole war thing drives me crazy. But yeah, you can make up your mind. I mean, I would say if you're on the fence, maybe wait for a sale. If there are DLC practices abound, then maybe wait for those to release so you can get the core game for cheaper. That's just my 2 cents. Well, there you go. Star Trek Infinite. This is Vince. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all next time. Kapla.